Well, all right, Andy. Feels good, don't it? Back in the chair, back for the podcast this morning. We were on a 2-week hiatus during the holidays. Hope everybody had a great Christmas and New Year's. Today is January 2nd, Monday, 2023, which just happens to coincide with, that's right, my birthday.
Happy birthday!
All right, thanks, guys. Already the wishes are coming in on Facebook. Happy birthday. I'm amazed how many people I got on there that are wishing happy birthday. So thank you. New Year's was Saturday night. Fireworks, Andy, I don't know about you, but fireworks in Riverview started at about 7 o'clock, and they went till about 3 o'clock. I did not go out. Even when I drank, New Year's Eve and Halloween are both amateur night. St. Patrick's Day is starting to become that. I just didn't. I woke up Sunday feeling great. A lot of people hungover, I hear. Yeah, Andy, I got sober first in 1988, thereabouts, and I was sober, clean and sober for 17 years, relapsed in 2005. I drank till used in 12 years. I got sober again in 2017, 18. This January I've been sober 5 years. Quit smoking cigarettes 6 years ago. No booze, pills, or powders. I do have my medical card, as does Snoop, full show, and I support legalization federally across the United States. So, Andy, let's get on with our show. We have a sponsor for today's show. We have our sponsor is Innovative Safety Solutions, and they're based out of Helena, Montana. They provide consultation services regarding federal and state regulations to our long haulers in the trucking agency. Andy, we're always supporting safety around here, aren't we? OSHA and safety. So, Innovative Safety Solutions, located in Helena, Montana. Google it. We are glad to have you on board and as a sponsor. All right, we got it, Andy. Rolling in. I can't believe yesterday was, of course, New Year's Day, and it was Sunday, so we had New Year's and Sunday brunch in full swing. Did you have pesto with your eggs, or are they scrambled? Brunch. Got no brunch zone is here. So, Andy, should we get on to it? We're into the new year, Monday the 2nd, my birthday, yippee yahoo, thanks for the little whatever that was. Friday was good, it was good. It was really nice waking up New Year's Day. Bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. I'll tell you what, Andy, the weather in this country has gone freaking crazy since we last broadcast. we've had in Montana. We had like 63 degrees below zero before Christmas. And then as that storm moved eastward, it dumped feet of snow. Feet, not F-E-A-T-S either. 11 eastern states were swamped. In Buffalo was the Buffalo along the lake there. It was just horrible. The death toll is above 40 as of this morning, and it is still climbing. The National Guard is going door to door in Buffalo and the surrounding areas. Buffalo had 60 inches. For those of you that are keeping score at home and don't have a calculator, 60 inches is 5 feet of snow. In about a day and a half, they got it. What's hard to explain is that if you've never experienced what a lake effect snowstorm is, you don't have a clue. People in Montana, oh yeah, we can handle winter in Montana. It just snows and gets cold here, okay, in Montana. That's it. We don't have lake effect blizzards, snow. My mother's family is from upstate New York, just 35 miles south of Buffalo along Lake Erie. Dunkirk, Fredonia shared area. That area got 92 inches of snow. That's over 7 feet in a day and a half. The water is picked up. It dumps ice and snow. The whiteout effect is you can't see your hand in front of your face. People in Buffalo were dying in cars, in snow banks. They found an elderly woman and her dog dead, trying to get home. You can't see. You go outside your front door, 6 feet, do this spin around with your eyes closed and then open up. You're not going to know where you're freaking at, and you're going to be 6 feet from the door, and you're going to die out there because you can't see. It was horrible. And even in Dunkirk and Fredonia, like I said, I went and spent my summers there, Andy, and a few Christmases there. I've been in lake effect of snow. I'm from Michigan anyway. So, it just battered and battered and battered, and the heat's on the Buffalo officials and the New York officials. Did you do enough? Did you say enough? It's like people, you live in Buffalo and Dunkirk, Fredonia. You've seen this before. It's a storm of the century. It's only 2022 when that happened. Okay, we got 78 more years. Don't be branding storm of the centuries when, this early on in the game. Devastating, Andy. It's just devastating back there. Now it's warming up. They're flooding. There's more snow. Of course, there's no global warming. The airlines. When it snows like this, and you got 11 states involved, and the snowstorms coming across the country, and their Buffalo's buried in 6 feet and 5 feet, and Dunkirk, Fredonia, just south of them, is 7 feet plus. You're going to have problems with airlines. Okay, American Airlines, 100 canceled flight. Northwest, what is it, Virgin Air, whatever, and he was like a couple hundred. United, the same. Southwest Airlines, they're the Wells Fargo of airlines, of course. 3,000 of cancellations per day. Not 100 like American, but 3,000 a day, okay? Now, Southwest Airlines, Andy, correct me if I'm wrong, they received more than $7 billion worth of the COVID aid, which is literally taxpayers' money. And basically, they left millions of people stranded. They blame it on supply chain issues, faulty software. If you got that money from taxpayers, you should have upgraded that software a long time ago. But failure to plan ahead, Andy, with a winter cyclone, what was it, a bomb cyclone, crazy winter vortex coming. Everybody knew, except Southwest Airlines. They did not. They just left people stranded. Luggage is in one town, you're in another. Pilots in a third town. I used to fly a lot when I was a kid because, Mom and Dad were divorced, and Dad's family was in Michigan, and Mom was living out here in Missoula, and Mom's family, aunts and uncles and grandparents were in New York. They'd put me on a plane by myself, and I'd fly, and I see now what they're flying. People putting their feet up on footrests, getting drunk, getting in fist fights. My mom used to leave me on a plane by myself, and it was okay. Southwest Airlines, they freaking dropped the ball, folks. I mean, they did, They're using software they're running on what, Windows 98? And, geez, oh no, they upgraded to XP. Software problems? Come on, man. I'm not going for it. Like I said, they're the Wells Fargo of airlines. And we all know that Wells Fargo was fined during our break, Andy, a couple $17 billion again. Where are they? And again. So, Southwest Airlines in the news, along with the story in Buffalo, the weather hammering the East Coast. 67, Andy, you say 7, not 2. 67 degrees below zero. I don't even know what it is in Celsius, but it's just freaking cold. I know that. Southwest says they've got things up and running again. Pete is going to look into it. Our Department of Transportation. Don't hold your breath. Big news. While we were gone, Andy, there was an arrest. An arrest, no doubt, in the University of Idaho murders. The 3 co-eds and the 1 boyfriend. Happened, 5 weeks ago? Brian Kohlberger, 28, was arrested in Monroe, Pennsylvania at his parents' house. He has courts. There's no courts today. Today's a holiday. Andy, today's a holiday and we're here. It's a holiday and my birthday and we're here. Bringing you the hits, everybody. He was arrested in Monroe, Pennsylvania at his parents' house. He has an extradition hearing tomorrow. Little background on our friend Bry. Brian is a criminology, working on his PhD. He's at Washington State University at Pullman, Washington, which is about, Andy, 10-minute drive to Moscow, Idaho, just right over the border. They have been searching for that white Hyundai Elantra since the very beginning, Randy, since the very beginning. That car was found at his parents' house in Pennsylvania. Just some background on him. reports are coming in, local news in Pennsylvania and in Pullman, that he's bullied a lot in high school and grade school. He picked on people as he got older in retaliation. He was an aggressive guy. Instantly when he moved, when the murders happened and he went to Pennsylvania, instantly he became on the radar in Pennsylvania. They didn't even draw a conclusion to Idaho. And the reason that he got on Pennsylvania law enforcement radar was, and I quote, by harassing women and waitresses at the local tavern, and that would be the Seven Sirens Brewing Company in Pennsylvania. He got called, police got called because he was giving crap to the waitresses. Not keeping a low profile when you're doing that. The college classmates in Pullman say that when the murders happened, he returned to school, was more talkative, more adamant. He has OCD. All of that was more pronounced after the murders. The funny, not funny, but the weird thing that I got was the story, the local story in Pullman, featured a man named Schuyler Jacobson. And Jacobson was a friend of Brian. Excuse me. He was a friend of Brian, and Schuyler would be afraid to jog at night by himself, because he would be worried about, and I quote this straight from the news story, he was worried about a serial killer getting him while he was jogging. So he would call Brian Kohlberger, and they would jog together. Kind of like calling Dexter, don't you think? I mean, innocent to proven guilty, but can you imagine? I mean, the guy, or whomever, allegedly Brian's arrested, so, this will play out. But can you imagine? He had to kill 4 people by stabbing them. Can you imagine the rage that this man must have had? I mean, stabbing is no easy... I'm just assuming, Andy, I mean, chopping wood isn't easy, so I'm assuming, Andy, that he's over there asking me, how would I know? I'm Dexter. Stabbing someone is a violent act. It's very aggressive. You have to take a lot of energy to do this. And the rage and the motive are I'm just wondering what more we're going to find out tomorrow with the extradition hearing. Evidently, he's not going to fight extradition, so it ought to be interesting. He was bullied a lot. He's aggressive at school, and now, I'm just thinking that it takes a lot of energy. 4 people. I mean, I read the Manson reports, and when Tex Watson, and then we're talking about the killings for the Tate murders, Sharon Tate murders, and the LaBianca murders, they said it was exhausting work, and it was just exhausting and dangerous. And there was a group of people killing people. This was one guy. Can you imagine how pissed off he had to be at something? Man, Andy. More tomorrow when he gets the extradition hearing. Like I said, I hear that he is not fighting extradition at this time. So, we will see. George Santos. Yeah, man. The more I read and the more that I watched the news on this guy and the reports that were coming in, I was literally like, what the fuck, dude? I mean, if you don't know who George Santos is, he is the Republican elected to the New York's 3rd Congressional District, which contains parts of Long Island and Queens on the last election cycle. George Santos is also known as Tony Sabritzky and Anthony DeVolder. People were kind of looking in to our Georgie boy, before the election when questions about his finances were coming up in September, 2 months before the November election. Once the election is over and the investigation starts, all hell broke loose. I mean, George, he said he had 4 employees working at the Pulse nightclub during this shooting there a few years back in Orlando. First of all, that's false. He didn't even have a controlling interest in that business, nor did he know anybody or any of the victims. He said, now this is what he told his constituents. He told people that he was going on the election trail these stories. He's like, I had 4 employees. I worked for Citigroup and Goldman and Sachs. No, he did not. He did not work for neither one of them. He was the regional director, though, of Harbor City Capital. That's a securities firm in Florida, which is right now under indictment because they're accused of running a Ponzi scheme worth more than $17 million. Who is Ponzi? No, not Fonzie. Hey, I'm getting you. Yeah, it's a Fonzie scheme. That's what it is. He claimed to have had brain cancer. In December of 2022, he didn't have any kind of cancer, not brain, not anything. He claimed to be Jewish. He's not. He's Catholic. But it was Jewish-like is his reason. He claimed his mom and dad, Annie's mom, he claimed that his mother died in the attacks on the Twin Towers in 9/11. Actually, his mom died in 2006. He claimed he graduated from New York City College and, Baruch College? With a bachelor's degree. He didn't even go to college. He never even enrolled in college. He's never even seen college. He says he's gay. Prove it. He was married. For how many years? But he's gay. He's come out and said, it was a poor choice of words. I was just embellishing. They're calling for him to resign. All people that voted are like, you lied. You said you were a college-educated man that worked in the Florida security, that worked at a security firm, and your mother was, and you were going to do this, and you were going to do that, but none of it's true. He had his name on, and that was his Zabrowski name, on the animal place that he was doing the fundraisers for in Queens, and then he never turned the money over. No, it's a poor choice of words, George says. It's an embellishment. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Ted Cruz. Oh, he's okay. We want him to stay. That's just so you get the majority. And in Congress. If you don't think this is wrong, if his fellow constituents and fellow political people and the people that he works with don't think that it is wrong to lie to your potential voters on everything, then we have a problem. But George Santos, he's got aliases, he's got fake businesses. There's nothing he said. He's probably like Lorraine Boebert and didn't even get his GED yet. Dumb. Fuck, he's dumb. What, Andy? I know. Yep, right here. Last Friday. Our former president's Trump taxes were released by Congress after a, Jesus Christ, 7-year fight. It's the only president that's ever fought to not release his taxes or release taxes voluntarily since Nixon. His excuse while in the White House was, I can't release my taxes because I'm being audited. I'd love to release them to everybody, but I can't because I'm being audited. Once taxes were released, it showed to the alarming to everybody that he'd never been audited. So he wasn't being audited. He just lied about that. He just didn't want them to release. Once they were released, Andy, did you see him on Truth Social? It's like it's going to set a dangerous precedent, releasing presidential tax records like this. It's like Trump, everybody since Nixon's done it. What do you mean it's going to set a precedent? Well, Nixon has done it. The dead people don't count. What dangerous precedent has you done? Biden's already released his. So what the hell, dude? What they did, we're not going to go in depth because that's a whole show, Andy, doing his taxes. Well, what they did show was multiple bank accounts in China. So keep yelling about Hunter, but I've been saying this all along, that the Trump corporations always had business dealings in China. Always. Long before we're talking long ago. But everybody's like, no, yes, he does. What was funny, not funny in a humorous way, but he showed on his 2015, 16, and 17. In 15 and 16, he paid $750 in federal income tax for the whole year, which is less than I paid with my painting business on the side, my painting gig on the side. The President of the United States paid less taxes than I did as a business owner in Great Falls. 2017, he paid zero, no taxes, which again, now it'd be 3 years that he paid less taxes than me. The argument, he's a smart businessman, fuck that. Okay, look at every other president; they're paying taxes. Okay. In 2020, he said to the press on multiple occasions, Fox News, CBS, everybody, Truth Social, Twitter, wherever he was at, that he was donating his 2020 salary back and not taking it. Do you remember that? You do. Okay, good, because his tax says that he did not donate a penny. In fact, in 2020, I donated more to the Great Falls Animal Shelter than President Trump did, even though he said he donated his whole salary. Tax releases showed that was false. No wonder he didn't want them released, Andy. I wouldn't have goddamn wanted them released either. Jesus, maybe he'll feel better, though, if he can, hurl some more racial slurs against Mitch's wife. I know that's really helping everybody and unifying everyone, isn't it? Isn't he such a unifier? I know. Andy says he's giving me that we're approaching the time, kind of a signal. So, Ukraine war, as we move into the new year, this will be dragging on a year now pretty soon, the war in Ukraine. And everybody's screaming that we shouldn't help, and we shouldn't do this, and we shouldn't do that. And I've made it clear from the beginning what we should do. The war in Ukraine, for you that don't know it and haven't been listening, is not a war on Ukraine. It's a war on the Ukrainian citizens, their power system, their water grids, their animal shelters, their hospitals, their schools. It's a war of war crimes. And Putin just keeps marching on. We've moved some Patriot missiles over there. That'll help. But, you know, it just won't help enough. We need to go over there and do some ass kicking, Andy. We need to. So, because of the continuing problem in Ukraine, you must, that's right, go into this new year continuing with your duck and cover drills, just like we did in grade school. Duck and cover, except for New York. New York has a different system. So, everywhere else in the country that's watching, keep up your duck and cover drills. Putin is just a nuclear button away. Duck and cover will save your life. Like hiding under a desk is going to save me from the nuclear explosion. New York, go indoors, go into a closet, duck and cover, and please stay there. Again, we want to welcome our newest sponsor, Innovative Safety Solutions, based out of Helena, Montana. Welcome aboard. Remember, everybody, as you go into this new year, adopt, do not shop, rescue, foster, kiss your dogs, be good to your dogs, be good to your neighbor. Welcome to 2023, everybody. We will be back, Andy, next week. So, have a great Monday. Have a great week. Enjoy the rest of your day off on this holiday. We will see you next Monday. Andy, we're out of here.